Well, hello, you trader nerds. Welcome in. I am Sweet Bobby. It is Christmas vacation, and we are doing great. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. And if you celebrate Hanukkah, hope you had a great Hanukkah. I don't know what Hanukkah's about, something about lights, but nonetheless, Christmas was great. Good to spend time with the family. We went out to the Japanese restaurant last night where the waitress could not understand a single word that I said. And then my family gets on to me because I try to talk to her. I said, I have a coupon. I have coupon. And try to talk in a Japanese accent that was not really a Japanese accent that was kind of embarrassing my family. But have you ever done that though? You try to like talk to somebody in a different, and then I was like, she couldn't understand. And I was like, uno, dos. And my wife is like, Bobby, that's Spanish. That's not Japanese. And I'm like, okay. So I tried my best. So anyway, real traders never trade alone. They trade with their fellow nerds. Who we got in the building today? We got Jim B. We got Dwayne. We got Edwin in the house. We got Grant. We got Hal. We got John. We got Lance Meister on Christmas vacation from his students in the house. We got Make the 111 Great Again. And I think we're trying to do that. We got Matt Jollywally, great family photo. He posted on Facebook. Matt Jollywally, you got a beautiful family. Mo, we got Mr. Money Pants in the house. We got Sean Quinn. We got Tom and Vicky with a Y. So welcome in one and all. Let's have some fun. The NQ is down 7 points, really doing nothing. The E-minis are down 2.75 points, not doing anything. Look how these are similar, though. You'll see this is why we have our hedges in the E-minis, even though we're trading NASDAQ products, because they do similar moves. So is it probably better we did our hedges in NQ? Yeah, it probably is. I just don't know how to do it. I'm not that smart. I know how to do the hedge in the E-minis, and that's where I'm comfortable. So I don't want to have to do the research and try to figure out how to do hedges in NQ. I just don't want to do it. Look at the VIX. VIX is 14.81, so that's dropped down considerably. The AD is finally positive after being negative for so long. And I still think we're going to have a huge vol event coming up shortly. I mean, this week, maybe not on the light volume, but it may be the next couple of weeks. I don't know. I just think something big's coming. I really do. I just got the feeling. So y'all be ready with your hedges and ready to go. But the AD is positive finally for once. Look at this though. The AD high was 195 for the day, and the AD low was negative 419, and now it's a positive 39. Behave.
You're not sharing your charts.
Am I not sharing my charts? Have I not shared my? Hold on. Unbelievable. I've done this whole time. Hal, thank you. Let's see. Share. So y'all didn't even hear the music thing. Can you see it now?
Nope.
Do y'all see anything?
Your desktop.
Oh, you see this. Oh, I got to share a different screen. Hold on a second. Let's share this screen. That's why. Now y'all see it. How's that, Hal? Good. Yep. Okay, my apologies, y'all. Again, my son got a computer like I did, and his monitor is not in. Santa was a little late on the monitor ordering, and so he's borrowing my third monitor. So that's kind of messed my monitoring stuff up. So I apologize for that. So now you can see this. You can see how NQ and the E-minis do very, very similar movements. That's why our hedges are in the E-mini. Volume is down, of course, and VIX is at 14.85, AD at 43. But look, this is what I thought was astounding. The AD low for the day was negative 419, which is very low, and the AD high was very high, 195, which is curious now with the AD being 35. But AD made the high of the day at about 1158. And then it's been going down. So let's see our big green monster. Our big green monster is about dead. It's about time to do another big green monster. But let's look at the volume profile here on the E-minis and see what we got. So look at this, y'all. And it's great how this thing works. I mean, it goes to these levels. It interplays on these levels. Look at this. These levels act as support and resistance. These levels support here. And then we are right at the scene of the crime, right at the 50% line where it always wants to go. Isn't that great? So we're fairly priced. We could see it going up or down. Really nothing to glean from this. Let's go to our NQ chart and see what NQ is doing. NQ, is fairly priced as well. Isn't that wild? So these go to these little things that we draw way before these things happen. And then time and time and time again, these serve as support and resistance levels. How does it work? Blake Young would have to explain it to you. I am not a very smart guy. I just kind of go with the flow. But I know that when I draw these things, they tend to work over and over and over again. So we can't really glean whether this is up or down. Let's see if we can see our linear regression chart on the E-minis. See if we can get an impression of what's going on. I've not drawn additional lines. I don't think that there are lines to be gone. We had this outlier here where we punched down, and then it's just been marching back up. So you could draw, let's see, we could draw something that looks like this, couldn't you? That looks mighty bullish here. Let's see. Let's clone that. Dun, 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 dun. All right, here we go. Let's draw something that looks like that. And so what would this be? I don't know. That would be, I guess, a downtrend there. But anyway, we really don't see any consolidation. We just saw consolidation, boom, one big move, and then now it's just stair-stepping back up. Interesting. So let's see how our little account's doing on the day. So our little account here is down $60, and our other one that we do this one in is down $5 on the day. So those are doing pretty good. Not much movement at all. Just keeping on. So what was our net lick at? Let's see. Our net lick is at 79,440, and we started this thing back 70. Was it 74 or 75? Let's see what we're doing. Let's close that. Oh my God, my school license will be deactivated soon. Did they fire me from the University of Alabama on Thursday, January 9th? If you're still associated with school, your admin needs to sign a license to your account to continue. Let me take a snapshot of that. Because unless they know something that I don't know, I don't want to lose all my stuff. So I will send this to them. And since I am teaching this semester with my little University of Alabama peepees, my little babies. All right, let's close this and let's see what we started. Okay, we started out at 75,000 on October the 1st, and now we are at 79,000 some odd. What did we say we were? 79,470. So we made about $4,000. That's pretty good. I'll tell you, there's been many a time that I wished, oh, Rick's in the house now. Yeah, Lance, after we're done, if you want, I can talk about the 9% signal with covered calls if you like. I would like for you to talk to us about that because I think the 9% signal is a great way. Now, I've had Claude. Now, if Claude knows what it's doing or not, to say, compare my method with the 9% SIG method, and it said that mine was better. But, a lot of people have said that Claude will try to tell you things that make you feel good. That Claude is like, trying to make me happy. So I don't know about that. So we've got 278 shares of TQQQ, and we've got a put for 32 days out there that is up 30.7%. We'll close that when it's 50%. And our covered call, Lance has a 95, and I've got a darn old 89 out here. That is down 28.5%, but we still got 89 days on that one. Now let's see how our little 111 is doing. If you don't know, we're doing the 111s and 112s again. So look at this. We're at 21% on this, and we're basically wanting to take about 50% profit on this. And that way we'll have a free put debit spread that will give us a free grind down hedge. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking to make these real big profit centers. It will make us a little bit of profit, but the main thing with having these 111s on is I want the grind down protection. Let's see what the P&L thing looks like on our account here. Da-da-da-da. And looked at this a while. This just looks like long stock, doesn't it? This is exactly what it looks like. It looks like long stock. If the market goes up, we make money. If the market goes down, we lose money. So let's see. Let's see how our little hedges are doing. So how do we do that? We go to count requirement. make sure we've got a hedge on. I said we go to count requirement for the love of all that is pure and holy. Oh, here it is. All right, so we got to move this to the 26th. Praise the Lord, we survived, and 40% up. Let's do all this, do all this, do all this. So we got about $8,500 worth of protection. That's good. I would love to make $8,500. This is if TTQ goes down 60%, and if our MES and ES positions were to go down 20%, we would make a beautiful $8,500 if volatility goes up 40%. Now, you can experiment with different things at 40 and all this. I think it might have been like 60% in March of 2020 when this thing went up. So, in that case, you start making mucho money. 29,000 if we had a big drop like that. But basically what happened on August the 5th, a date which will live in infamy, was a date where the volatility went up 40 points. So that's what we're looking at. Okay. Hey, Lance, talk about the 9 sig with the cover calls. I'd love for you to share about that.
Sounds good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you great.
All right. So I do like a slightly modified version of the 9% signal from Jason Kelly. What I'm going to do is I start with 60% in TQQQ, 40% in bill, and then I look for the 9% gain in 3 months off whatever the TQQQ price is. And then I'll look to sell a covered call above the 9%. I'm typically looking around 12 to 15% out of the money. And then you just let it go and see what happens when it expires.
Now, I think that's an important thing that you said there. So you're selling the covered call above, because what would happen is if you reach that 9% above, you would close and take profits, right? Anyway.
Yeah, I'll just let it expire. So in the last one in December, it was above the 12% or so that I did. And then the market dropped, if you remember, like last Thursday. So it actually went a little bit below my covered call strike.
Uh-huh.
I was perfectly fine letting it get called away. I think I sold around an 84 covered call for last Friday that expired. And then we're at the 90s at one point. So obviously it would have been better if we just didn't sell the covered call. But I was perfectly fine with around the 12% gain plus it was about $350 in premium I took in from the covered call as well.
And you just said you sold that 95 covered call for $459. So that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that on Friday for the March expiration. So 9% was a little bit below, so I went around 12%. And then if it gets called away, I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm just going to add it in again when the next Monday comes out. If it doesn't, then I'm just going to figure out what the 9% gain of TQQ should be, and then just sell above that as well.
And it's 9% over a quarter, right? Is that right? Or is it
9%
9%
over 9% over 3 months.
Yeah.
So in this last one, we went over the 9%. So I just kept my TQQ and Bill shares. Just sold the covered call around 12% above it. If we were not above 9%, then I would have taken some of my funds from Bill and then bought more TQQ shares to get to that 9%.
Yeah, that's really cool. And the book, if anybody wanted to learn about that, isn't it called the 3% Signal by what's his name? Kelly or
3% Signal by Jason Kelly.
Yeah. So it's a good book.
Yeah, it's a good mechanical way to go about it. You don't have to do a lot of the indicators. You just see what the numbers are and then just take the trade and then just regroup everything.
About how many shares of TQQQ do you have, Lance, that you're doing these covered calls on?
I'm only doing 100 shares. And it's 60% in TQQ. I put 40% in Bill just to have a bit of a cushion in case it doesn't go up to 9%. And then I could take some funds from Bill and buy more TQQ if needed. And I'm doing it in my Roth IRA, so it's fully cash secured.
That's nice. That's really good. So so the 9% signal, y'all, is you just kind of figure out where the 9% up at the end of the thing is, and if you're above it, you sell some, and if you're below it, you buy some. Isn't that the way it basically goes?
That's correct. I'm not personally selling any shares though, because I want to stay with 100 shares so I could sell covered calls again.
Yeah.
But if you have more than 100 shares, that could be a good way to go. So it's just a mechanical way to buy low, sell high, especially if you made over the 9% like we did the last 3 months. You could sell some of the excess TQQQ, go into a little bit more safety in the bill.
And what are you doing in your other accounts? I noticed that you had talked about, don't do the 111. If you're going to do it, do the 1111 or the 1122. What else are you doing in your accounts, Lance?
Yeah, I'm doing a similar calendarized 1122 with similar to Tom King's, just a little bit different on the strikes and the premiums and the DTEs. Staying really low on that. It's only going to be about a $10,000 account and doing it with MES.
Yeah. And I like that I've thrown the 111 back into the mix because we did have such success with it. And now all I'm basically doing is looking at the analysis tab just to make sure that I've got hedges in place while I have those on. But what I really like about the 111 is if I can pay for those big put debit spreads. Now the one that I've got on is 100 points wide. It gives me a little bit of grind down protection with our TQQQ, assuming that NASDAQ and the E-minis move, in conjunction with each other, which they normally do.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. As long as you're having those hedges in place with your Black Swan hedge, I think it should be a good trade in the end. If you do have that big grind down, it could at least have your put debit spreads with the 100 width and possibly profit on the Black Swans.
Are you doing 100 width now, or are you doing 50 on the put debit spreads?
I'm still at 100 width and the debit's around 8 to 10 or so. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going a little bit further out in time, around 150 days out on those. And then I'm selling the naked put credit spread or naked puts at around 26 days, so a little bit shorter on those.
Oh wow, that's really short. That's good. But at
Yeah,
least those decay really fast, don't they? So that's good.
yeah. And then another thing I'm considering is if it ever touches the strike price of the sold puts, I'm going to roll down and out for no net credit or debit just to make it a little bit safer. I'll try to roll down and out a month for whatever the premium is to close it. I'm going to look for the same premium to reopen a new one about a month out. So at least I could go down with, the stock as it goes.
What I like about our little um, plan now that I'm doing is it allows us, the capital appreciation and the slow investment of buy and hold, but it also allows us to trade options around it, which we were all very comfortable doing before August the 5th. So I like that it gives us a little bit of everything. And, it's like, I'm just sitting there thinking that we are on the beginning stages of a technological revolution. I really think that. And if I'm wrong, then I've lost, $75,000 doing it. If I'm right, then we could potentially make bukus of money. So that's the risk that I'm taking. And I like that I don't have more risk than what my account size is. It was very difficult on August the 5th to see some of my accounts in the negative. In particular, one of them was down, negative 20, showing that I owed tastytrade $20,000. I never want to experience that again, Lance, or go through
Yeah.
that.
That makes sense. And if you're doing that TQQ strategy with, a certain percent of your account, not 100%,
Yeah.
perfectly fine losing, all of it of that small percent. I think that's personally, preferably, obviously that doesn't happen, but ideally we could profit off it. With my 9% signal and the Roth IRA, it's only 5% of my total account anyway. So, even if it goes down to zero, ideally we don't, but I'm still okay with it if it happens.
Let's tell everybody Lance is a high school teacher and he teaches his kids in school about investing in stocks and things of that nature, which is kind of cool. And he's got his own YouTube channel that you can check out. So, Lance, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you online?
Yeah, so if you're on Sweet Bobby's Discord, I have a channel there. I think it's under Investing Teacher.
Yeah, investing teacher. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll leave a link there. I'll also leave a link to an ebook I wrote on how I teach my kids how to save, invest, and spend. and it's the plan that I do with my 11 and 9-year-olds as well. So every month I have them pick the stocks that they want. They're just buying and holding it. We go over how to save your money, how to spend a certain amount as well. So yeah, I'll leave the link and the information on the
Oh,
chat.
that'll be great, Lance. And the thing is, y'all, we teach kids trigonometry, but we don't teach them how to make a fortune and how to retire with dignity. It's just a travesty that we just don't teach that. And so that's Godspeed for what you're doing with your kids. My kids go back to school January 7th. How long do y'all get off, Lance?
Yeah, I'm back on January 6th, and then the students are back on the 7th. So I
Okay.
get to prep. Yeah, I'm also running an investing club at my school during lunches,
Yeah.
and it's really hard to get people to even be interested in it. I teach high schoolers, and I usually have 3 to 5 kids just mostly just hanging out, just talking about random stocks. And I don't do a lot with options. I want them to have that, long-term mindset, just regularly invest and low cost index funds and whatnot, because, there a lot of places are not really teaching that stuff for kids, and it's hard to get these kids interested in it. But at least the
And,
few that
and are you aware of any, like, they used to have these high school investment challenges and things of that nature. Are there currently any of those out there that you got the kids
yeah,
involved with, or are those worth considering?
Yeah, I think CNBC runs one, and there might be a few others. I personally don't think it's a good idea to do that, because a lot of people will be very aggressive and they're going to buy small cap penny stocks just to possibly win, but then they could easily lose a lot of money. So
Hmm.
that's why I purposely don't tell them about this stuff, where I'm like, look, if you bought SPY and just keep buying it every paycheck, and you're going to do really good shape. Um, Pretty much a quick thing I tell all my kids the first day that they come in for the club is, whatever you make and whatever job you have, take 10% of it, at least. Obviously, more would be better. Just move your decimal point one place to the left. So, you get a check for $2,000, save 200 of it. And do that every single paycheck, and don't touch it. There's a pretty good chance, no matter what career they're in, they're going to be in pretty good shape if they do that.
Yeah, Lance, my daughter, I'm so excited with what she's done. She started this from the very beginning when she got her job at Piggly Wiggly, and now she puts 10% of her salary into a savings account. She puts 10% of her salary into a Roth IRA where she buys VOO, which is the Vanguard version of SPY,
Yeah.
basically. And she puts, and then she gives 10% to our church. And basically, the budget that I teach kids, especially in my college classes, is I say live on 70. So whatever if you can live on 70% of your money, you can do amazing things with that other 30. So I try to get them in the mindset of, hey, my future is living on 70. If I want to go on vacations, I do all the stuff, I pay my bills, my rent, my mortgage, my food, my transportation, all of that is covered by the 70. And then the 30% I do these amazing things with. And I like people, you hear about these like Dave Ramsey having, an emergency fund of $1,000 and then have 6 months of an emergency fund. But what I teach my students is to be lifelong savers. And that way you're always having money. You always are saving something that's liquid for the vacations, for the brand new car, so you're always saving for these bigger purchases and these little fantasy purchases that you want because you become a lifelong saver. And for example, Abby, she wants to go again. She went on a mission trip to Honduras and she wants to go again this year. And so, she's
Nice.
got enough in her savings, not her investment account, that she can take out of her savings. So I want her to be a lifelong savings. Now, there will be those that will criticize that and say, no, you need to have that money working in more above savings and you need to either invest it in real estate or businesses, whatever. But at least I think people should be lifelong savers and have that money. If you need the new car, you need the Winnebago, you need, whatever, you have that money set aside for that.
Yeah, definitely good advice. What I tell some students a little bit more advanced here is, put as much as you can in the Roth IRA. Ideally, you can max it out. And then if you hold it for 5 years, you could take out any contributions you put in anyway, tax free. So you could consider putting some of that in relatively safe stuff in case you need it as a semi-emergency fund. Put that in bill or something like that, or just let it grow from there. But I think your advice is definitely very good.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, I'm proud. And Matt Jollywally says he pushes that too, Lance. He tries to get all of his athletes that he works with to talk to their parents about opening a Roth IRA, which is really, really good.
Yeah, Roth IRA is really hard to beat in the end, especially with those tax benefits they have.
Yeah. I mean, because Abby's not paying any taxes really to speak of now. And so, pay them now and put them in that Roth IRA and have that money grow tax free, which is really, really, really good.
So they made the max contribution 7,000 for 2025, and I hate to do the exact same amount each paycheck. So I'm gonna go $1,000 in the very beginning of January. That leaves
Mhm.
6,000 left, and then 500 a month will max it out. I just like the round numbers over those decimal points and all that, pennies
Oh,
and all
that's
that.
great. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. 1,000 at the beginning, 500 a month. That gets you $7,000. Matt says he's big on a 529 for your girls right now. Yeah, I have one for my kids at New York. Is one where I put 529, and then I also have one here in my home state of Georgia. Matt, where is your 529? Is it in Kentucky, or where do you have it? I'd just be curious where your 529 is. And it's been great. Fidelity's where you opened it. I love the 529 because when Abby, she needs books or she needs, the great thing is here in Georgia is most of our students that graduate high school are able to go to college for free because we have the Hope Scholarship that is funded from the lottery. And Abby has taken advantage of the Hope Scholarship. So the only thing that we ever now and then have to buy is we bought her a laptop computer for out of her 529, and then we buy her books out of her 529 plan. So that's been really good so that we can roll it over into a Roth. Okay, so you
Yep.
can't roll a 529 over into a Roth if you don't use it for. Yeah, I'm hoping we don't use all of Abby's either. That's what I'm hoping for. That there's money left over there.
It's a good
So
strategy. Could I talk a little bit of college football? Even
yeah,
though
we'd love to talk college football.
but
Yeah.
I don't care a ton about it, but my wife worked at University of Texas back when I met her. So I'm a little bit of a fan. I don't really care much in the end. I didn't go there. But why is Georgia not letting them have Bevo, the Longhorn over there? It's like a 1 point something square foot stadium, and they can't let the Longhorn in there.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. They should have let him in there. That was crazy,
It's like
for not doing that.
Georgia beat Texas twice, and they're trying to beat them a third time in the college playoffs by not letting the Longhorn in.
Well, you know what's bad about Texas is my wife didn't care anything about Texas. Of course, we pull against Georgia anytime Georgia plays somebody, but ugly mascot, they smell bad. But what we were pulling for Texas against Georgia both times, of course, because I go to
Yeah,
church with a bunch of Georgia fans and they're just arrogant. And
yeah,
when Beth found out that Matthew McConaughey is a Texas fan, she's all Texas now. It's
yeah.
just sickening. It's just sickening. But I'll tell y'all this: the college playoffs have been atrocious so far. I'm just like, is this the best we can do? And I just hate that we got to give these guaranteed positions because of the conference championships that we have to give those in when they're probably not the best team in the country. And I'm not saying that Alabama needed in, they had 3 losses, but perhaps there were other teams that should have been made in instead of, I don't know, SMU. I mean, we got to look at the strength of schedule somewhere, y'all, because that game against Penn State was atrocious. Clemson was really not, I mean, it was closer than I think the score was closer than what the game actually was, but we've had some really horrible games.
Yeah, the problem is they're going to keep adding more teams. And, when they used to have 4 teams, the fifth team's like, what about us? It's going to constantly be that way. If you put 64 teams, the 65th team's like, what about us? It's like, you got to make a cutoff somewhere.
What do y'all think about this? I think that they should actually reseed them too, to make these games more competitive. I don't know,
Mhm.
do something. I don't know, something's broken with it. And I'm now at the point where I'm thinking that I would rather watch pro football. Ugh. than maybe some of these college games that are on. But the first round of the playoffs was atrocious. Maybe the second round will be a little better. And let's hope Notre Dame beats Georgia.
Yeah, I think the next few rounds will be a little bit more competitive in the end. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good talking football. We talked the 9% signal, talked all kind of stuff. Anyone got any questions about the 9% signal for Lance or anything that he's doing? Anybody got something? No one would have been happy if they saw they had to play a 12 seed Alabama team. Well, depending on what Alabama team showed up, we certainly have the ability. Matt, I saw a chart the other day to where Auburn, out of the top 10 prospects, high school prospects in the state of Alabama, that they got like 8 or 9 of them. Is that right? Is Auburn doing that well in recruiting, or are we just getting kids outside of the state of Alabama? But I was worried about that. We don't want to see them do that. Yeah, thanks, Lance, for all your wisdom that you shared with us today. All right, guys. Yeah. Well, y'all all have a great day, and I will see everybody tomorrow.